Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Brett Favre: the reason Aaron Rodgers is dragging out Steelers' decision, report. When free agency started, there were a handful of teams interested in signing four-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. Now nearly a month later, it seems Rodgers' only options are either the Pittsburgh Steelers or retirement, and the 41-year-old signal caller seems intent on dragging out making his decision as long as possible. Rodgers visited the Steelers more than a week ago, spending over 6 hours on site talking to general manager Omar Khan, head coach Mike Tomlin, and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Though he left without a deal, reports indicate the Steelers feel good about their chances to sign Rodgers. They likely felt even better after it was revealed Rodgers had a throwing sessions with new $132 million receiver DK Metcalf over the weekend at UCLA. And while Rodgers is seemingly doing his due diligence, a new report from the Daily Mail revealed exactly why he's dragging out his decision-making process, and it has much to do with a conversation he had with the QB he replaced in Green Bay, Brett Favre. Aaron has had discussions with Brett and they have talked about the pluses and minuses of going to Pittsburgh or Minnesota, a source told the Daily Mail. Aaron originally was adamant on not going to Minnesota at all because he didn't want it to look like he was following in Brett's footsteps, but he has softened his stance on going to Minnesota. He knows he has Pittsburgh at any time, but he is holding out to see if Minnesota changes their mind. But he and the teams as a whole are looking to make final decisions right before the draft. So a few more weeks of silence might be the case, but Aaron is trying to steer his ticket to Minnesota before he would settle for Pittsburgh. According to multiple reports, Rodgers is heavily interested in signing with Minnesota, but the interest isn't mutual. The Vikings are reportedly comfortable heading into next season with 2024 first-round pick J.J. McCarthy as their starter, though Rodgers seems intent on calling their bluff. Most expect Rodgers to make a decision before the 2025 NFL Draft on April 26, though Tomlin recently confirmed the Steelers haven't given him any sort of deadline to make a decision by. "I don't know that we've approached it from a deadline perspective," Tomlin said. "Certainly, as I mentioned, you'd like to have settled circumstances, but deadlines don't often bring that to a head." First call, Paul Skeens reacts to his GQ photo spread with Livvy Dunne. Steelers pulled back on Kirk Cousins' inquiry. Thursday's First Call has pictures of Paul Skeens' GQ photo shoot with Livvy Dunne. The Pittsburgh Penguins have a daunting task in St. Louis. The Steelers apparently pulled back from a quarterback inquiry. Plus, Alex Ovechkin scored again. But now his Washington Capitals are suddenly struggling. Smile pretty for the camera. GQ magazine published a photo spread with Pirates pitcher Paul Skeens and his girlfriend, LSU gymnast Livvy Dunne. Some of the photos were, going for a certain theme. What that theme is, I'm not exactly sure. In that one shot, why is Skeens eating honeycomb cereal in a pinstripe suit coat and no shirt? There is also another picture where Skeens is dressed like Christian Bale from American Hustle, and Dunne has 1980s leg warmers on as if she is going to an all-Debbie Gibson jazzercise class, while she's laying on a piano for some reason. The couple's dog, Rue, also makes a cameo. "I'm gonna get some flack in the locker room," Skeens said on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. "I'm not looking forward to that." "Oh, yes, you are, Paul. Yes, you are. But keep pitching like you did against Tampa Bay on Wednesday, and you can eat all the shirtless honeycomb that you want." Ovi strikes again. For as steady as Alex Ovechkin was in the month of March, if he was going to assure himself of catching Wayne Gretzky on the NHL's all-time goal-scoring list this year, he was either going to need at least one big game, or he was going to need to get a consecutive game-scoring streak going. The Washington Capitals winger basically scored every other game in March, notching 7 goals in 14 days. That got him within 5 goals of breaking Gretzky's mark of 894 career goals. Now he has scored in back-to-back games to open April, tallying another goal Wednesday against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Caps ended up losing 5-1. Ovi is just 3 goals away from breaking the record with 7 games remaining. The last of those games is in Pittsburgh on April 17. Ovechkin is up to 39 goals on the season. Washington still leads Carolina by 9 points in the Metropolitan Division, but the team has lost 4 times in its last 5 outings. Thanks, but no thanks. Atlanta seems ready to move on from veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins. But no other NFL team seems very interested in picking him up. Nor is he interested in certain destinations. According to Bleacher Report's James Palmer, the Steelers inquired about Cousins at some point in the quarterback search. But he claims that offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, the former head coach in Atlanta, nixed a lot of the discussion after speaking with some folks he still knows in the organization. The Steelers called and kicked the tires early, but my understanding is that Arthur Smith, being the former head coach in Atlanta, still knows plenty of people in that building and kind of got the word on where things are with Kirk in terms of his play as a quarterback, Palmer said Wednesday on Bleacher Report's YouTube channel. The Steelers, obviously, have fallen off. In 14 games last year coming off of an Achilles injury, Cousins put up 3,508 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions with a passer rating of 88.6. For roughly a full season as a starter, those were career-worst stats for him. Palmer says Cleveland has expressed an interest. The Browns had called the Falcons very early in this process, I was told, and Kirk kind of squashed that to some extent, to my understanding, Palmer said. Kind of made it through certain intermediaries to get back to the Browns that he wasn't interested in going there. I'm not sure if that means Cousins wouldn't report or if he threatened retirement if he was dealt to Cleveland, but somehow, he put the brakes on that talk. The Browns still have former Steeler Kenny Pickett to turn to as the starter if needed. Steelers predicted to sign $112.5 million QB, 10-time Pro Bowler. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a playoff team without a quarterback, though they may not be without one for long. The NFL Draft is coming up later this month, and Pittsburgh holds the number 21 overall pick, which the team could use to select a QB or utilize as part of a trade to move up for one earlier in the proceedings. However, Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report predicted on Wednesday, April 2, that the Steelers will ultimately close out their long and winding courtship with free agent Aaron Rodgers in the form of a signed contract in the relatively near future. All signs point to Pittsburgh, as the potentially competitive Steelers have lost Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and lack the draft capital to make a move in that realm, Gagnon wrote. It appears the two sides will make this happen, but you never know with an enigmatic character like Rodgers. When asked about whether the Steelers will eventually acquire Rodgers, Pittsburgh owner Art Rooney II told media members on Tuesday that the signs are pointing in that direction. The quarterback also recently worked out privately with wide receiver DK Metcalf, for whom the Steelers traded this offseason, then signed to a $132 million extension. Rodgers will turn 42 years old in December and played the last 2 seasons with the New York Jets. The Jets released Rodgers this spring with 1 year remaining on his $112.5 million contract. Rodgers is a 4-time NFL MVP and a 10-time Pro Bowler. He last earned both honors following the 2021 campaign. Are you a fan? What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.